Why does your life keep spiraling into chaos, even when you try to stay in control? Why do the same kinds of people, problems, and pain keep reappearing in your story, no matter how much progress you think you've made? Is it just bad luck? Or is there something far more intimate, far more ancient, and far more dangerous living inside your mind? Carl Jung believed that the things you fail to confront within yourself don't disappear. They fester in the dark, and eventually they find a way out, not as thoughts, but as fate, as chaos, as repeating patterns that look like they're attacking you from the outside, but are actually messages from deep within. In this video, you'll discover the psychological reason chaos keeps finding you and what it's trying to reveal. You'll learn how your unconscious mind may be the architect of your suffering, and if you have the courage to face it, this understanding could shift everything. So ask yourself, what if the chaos around you is actually coming from you? Let's begin. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the hidden part of yourself that you don't want to see. It's not evil. It's just unseen. It contains all the parts of you that your conscious mind has rejected. Your rage, your jealousy, your fear, your lust, your desire to control, to hurt, to dominate. Everything you've been taught to label as bad gets buried there. But buried doesn't mean gone. You think you're a good person. You try to be kind, respectful, maybe even spiritual. But Jung warned, whatever you repress doesn't die. It waits. It waits to erupt. And when it does, it doesn't knock politely. It breaks the door off its hinges. In relationships, in breakdowns, in moments where you say, I don't know what came over me. You attract chaos not because you're cursed, but because your unconscious is trying to show you what you've refused to face. Look at your patterns. The same arguments, the same emotional triggers, the same kind of partner, boss, friend who wounds you in precisely the same way. These aren't accidents. They're repetitions. Your life is a mirror, and your shadow is closer than you think. So if the chaos isn't random, what is it trying to show you? Carl Jung didn't believe chaos was meaningless. In fact, he believed it was sacred. The collapse, the conflict, the neurosis, these aren't signs that something's gone wrong. They're signs that something inside you is trying to speak. Chaos isn't the punishment. It's the message. Think about that betrayal, that heartbreak, that thing that keeps going wrong in your life, no matter how much you try to avoid it. It's not just misfortune. It's a signal. Jung wrote that the unconscious communicates through symbols and symptoms, through dreams, compulsions, and yes, chaos. When the conscious mind refuses to listen, the unconscious will shout. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this trying to show me about myself? But here's the cost of that awareness. To truly hear the message chaos brings, you have to stop running. You have to look directly into the thing you've always avoided. Most people never do. They numb, blame, distract, or collapse. But if you dare to listen, the chaos becomes a compass. Because what if the suffering is the summons? Jung believed we are not just one self, but many. Within each of us live powerful archetypes. The victim, the tyrant, the martyr, the saboteur. These characters aren't just stories. They're energies in your psyche. And when they go unconscious, they begin to live your life for you. You might not realize it, but you've likely acted out these roles over and over. That voice in your head that says, they always leave me. That part of you that blows things up just when they start to go well. That resentment boiling beneath your smile. These are not random flaws. These are archetypes acting through you, trying to play out an old script, one they've rehearsed 1,000 times before. Take the victim archetype. If you carry it unconsciously, you may attract betrayal again and again, not because you deserve it, but because part of you needs the world to confirm that people can't be trusted. It's painful but familiar, and the psyche always clings to what it knows. Until you become aware of these inner characters, they control you like a puppet. They write your fate behind the curtain. You're not free. You're cast in a role you didn't even choose. So ask yourself, what role have you been playing without even knowing it? Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This is the core of his message. You must bring light to the dark. You must face what lives within, or continue to be ruled by it. So how do you begin? Through shadow work. Not a trendy practice, but the painstaking art of self-confrontation. It starts when you stop blaming the world and begin noticing your own reactions, your triggers, your patterns, the things that make you feel deeply ashamed, afraid, or defensive. Those are your trail markers. What do you judge in others that you might secretly fear in yourself? That arrogance you hate, that weakness you mock, that attention-seeking you roll your eyes at. Often, they're shadows, parts of yourself you've rejected so fully, you can only see them in others. The only way forward is radical responsibility. This doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means owning every part of your psyche, especially the parts you wish weren't there. Integration isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. That means embracing the chaos, not erasing it. If this is starting to shift something in you, subscribe. This channel isn't about comfort. It's about truth. And it's for those ready to go deeper. But beware, the ego is not going to like this. Your ego doesn't want you to change. Not because it's evil, but because it's afraid. The ego is addicted to identity, even a painful one. If you've always been the victim, or the overachiever, or the one who's constantly in chaos, your ego will protect that story at all costs. It fears the unknown more than it fears suffering. This is why so many people sabotage their peace. Because peace feels unfamiliar. Because when things get calm, the old identity starts to crumble, and the ego panics. It whispers, "This isn't you." And you find a way, consciously or not, to bring back the chaos you swore you wanted to escape. The chaos isn't the real problem. Your ego's attachment to the identity chaos provides is. So ask yourself, if I keep repeating the same story, who would I be without this pain? That's not a rhetorical question. That's the beginning of liberation. We're taught to be good, to be nice, to be agreeable, kind, and safe. But Jung didn't believe the purpose of life was to be good. He believed it was to be whole. That means including everything you are, not just what makes people comfortable. The light and the dark, the kind smile and the hidden rage, the tenderness and the primal instinct. Most people repress half their being in order to be liked, and then wonder why they feel empty, fake, or on the verge of collapse. You know this pattern. The overpleaser who never complains until they explode. The one who always smiles until depression swallows them whole. That's not bad luck. That's the shadow revolting against a one-sided life. When you choose wholeness over goodness, something changes. You stop betraying yourself to earn love. You stop fearing your own power. You become someone real, not someone rehearsed. And if you ignore this long enough, the chaos will come find you anyway. Jung didn't just see unintegrated shadow as a personal problem. He saw it as a threat to humanity. When you refuse to face your own darkness, you start projecting it onto others. You begin to see monsters where there are people, threats where there are differences, chaos not just in your own life, but in your culture, your politics, your world. This is how wars begin, how hate spreads, how entire societies collapse, not from external enemies, but from the internal shadow no one dares to confront. On a personal level, the stakes are just as high. If you keep avoiding your shadow, it won't go away. It will show up in every job you quit, every relationship that breaks, every night you lie awake wondering why it all keeps falling apart. You'll keep attracting the same pain until you finally ask, what inside me is asking to be healed? Because chaos is not a curse. It's an invitation. And the only way out is in.